What's going on, guys? It's Lark here. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and the environment and corporations. Sexy topics, I know, but this is a really important consideration to take into account when actually thinking about the Bitcoin industry overall. Quick shout out, as always, to everyone who has been hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel, guys. I really love all your support, so thank you so much. Also, quick disclaimer, this is not professional financial advice. This is just me talking about my passion for all things crypto related. Let's get into it. Bitcoin, $4,555.86. Wowzers. Wowzers. Now that, of course, is not the whole picture. As always, let's look at the 7-day. 7-day, we have seen it tracking very high prices. Let's just see here. 4,625. Yeah, huge prices here, guys. Huge prices. Sustained right above the 4,600 mark, and of course tracking back down just a little bit at the moment. More growth to come, of course. It's Bitcoin. Biggest volume was over on Bitfinex, actually, which is quite interesting. 4% of the volume, not a massive amount, of course, but Bitcoin, you really find the volume is much more distributed around than with some of the other coins at the moment, where the Koreans are coming and buying up everything, or next day the Japanese are buying everything. Bitcoin does have a lot more distribution in that way of who's buying it. That's where it ends, because if you look who's mining it, that's a very different picture, guys. Now look, this is just the mining pools. I know, for example, Antpool, not all of their machines are based in China, but a lot of them are. So, all the home miners, you can just join up and mine with Antpool. If you've bought an S9 Bitcoin miner from Bitmain, you can just go over there and sign up on their pool and use that. And I'm sure that's a couple percent of their power. But the majority of their power does come from what they're running themselves. And if you look across the board, actually, Antpool China, BTC China, BTC China, via BTC China, most of these big names, like 75% at least, probably a bit more if I did more research into a few of the smaller guys, let's say about 80% alone is just coming from China. It's crazy. And of course, a few big companies are really taking the majority of the power. So when you hear this kind of argument in but the poor miners, they're not going to make any money if blah blah blah. Man, these corporations are killing it. They're getting all these fees and mining all these blocks, and these guys are making money, big time money. Bitcoin started out, back in the day, Bitcoin started out as this thing where, it's people on their computers, exchanging digital money and stuff, and it has become corporatized, guys. It really has. In the near future, we're going to come back and look at this hash rate distribution, and we are going to see the Russian company that's just had, they've raised like $100 million, and so they're looking at taking 30% of the global hash rate. Huge. So Russia will be a major competitor in the Bitcoin market. It's very interesting. Very interesting that. Now you might say, well, okay, that's fine, Lark. Who cares? This is so what? The big corporations get in there. I'm still getting paid. Yeah, we're all still getting paid. That's true. We're not going to stop getting paid, are we? But one of the things we have to consider is that because all of this mining is happening in China, and that's really my biggest qualm here, is that it's all centralized. The majority of the mining is happening in one part of the world. We need to decentralize the mining activities a bit. Get the spread a bit better, move things around a bit more. I'm glad that Russia's getting on board, but other countries need to get on board too. We need to see 10% of it coming out of the U.S. Brazil needs to get on board, and Australia needs to get on board. We actually have to have real power coming in here. Look, I realize these are just pools, but the majority of that mining power is still located in China, even though it's, you might have a miner from Australia or New Zealand contributing their power into that pool. Most of that pool power is coming from miners physically located in China. Now, let's look at China's What kind of energy does China use? China still mostly using coal-fired power. Now look, that is changing. China is investing very, very, very heavily into renewable energy. They are the world's leader in the production of renewable energy, solar panels and stuff like this, but doesn't mean that they've, got fully adopted yet. China's a massive power-hungry country, energy-hungry country, I should say. And so you still see, this is just a very small percentage of renewable resources. So coal, gas, other thermal would be wood, for example, biofuels, burning the poop. So massive, massive environmental impact here, guys. So that is, obviously China does suffer the effects of that. We've all seen these photos before of China and how, crazy it gets with all the coal burning and things like that on those cold, wintry days. Yeah, Bitmain. A lot to answer for, Bitmain. I love you, but damn, what are you doing to us? What are you doing to us? So the estimate is that eventually Bitcoin might consume 60% of annual global electricity production. That's insane. That is insane, guys. Can you imagine? Can you actually imagine that? That is just out of control. So their estimate is that if one Bitcoin is at £1 million, or about 1.4 million US dollars, then that is the energy consumption we'd be looking at. It is insane, absolutely insane. It's really, in the long run, it kind of questions the sustainability of the whole project, and something will have to change. Something will have to change with Bitcoin, because you can't have 60% of the world mining Bitcoin. It's just too crazy. There will have to be some kind of change to the system before that happens, because just imagine the craziness behind that. Of course, the big question is, how are we actually making that energy? And that makes a big difference in the equation too. Okay, this is the Bitcoin Energy Consumption Index. I like this. This is, so today, the world has consumed 16.36 terawatt hours in order to produce Bitcoin today. And of course, take care of all the transactions and stuff like that. How much is that? That's a lot, let me tell you. That is a lot. So, to get 1 terawatt hour would be like having 220 square kilometers of solar panels. Wow. Right? That would also be the same as 450 kilotons of coal. That's just for 1 terawatt hour, guys. Just for 1 terawatt hour. Amazing. We used 16.36 today, guys. Out of control. Out of control. The environmental implications of that are huge. Obviously, if we're burning coal for it, which China is, that's problematic. If we have a giant solar field, that's much less problematic. And I don't really have any problem with that. Let's get a hydroelectric dam, hooked up somewhere and just fill it full of, ASIC miners. That'd be amazing. But that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening, guys. A few people are using, renewables in order to power their stuff. For example, Genesis's office over in Iceland. Iceland gets a lot of its energy from renewable geothermal energy. Great. Rock and roll, guys. I love it. But if you're burning coal, that's a real problem. That's a real problem for Bitcoin's future, because it's very unsustainable. Bitcoin could be using as much electricity as Denmark by 2020. And of course, if the growth continues, last year it was using as much as Iceland, now it's going to be using as much as Denmark pretty soon, and then it'll be using as much as France, and it'll be using as much as Germany, and then, sky's the limit. It shouldn't happen. It's too much. It's too much. Although, as mentioned, if Bitcoin was using as much energy as Denmark, but was using its energy like Denmark uses its energy, well, that will be a different question, because Denmark gets most of its energy from renewable resources. Great. look, guys, this is something that needs to be addressed in the industry. And I know it's not the sexiest topic, and everyone's talking about investing and making that money, guys, making that money. But it's not all about making the money. It's almost about how we make the money. It's all great if we all have, we've got our 20 Bitcoins or whatever. Oh yeah, this is great. And you look out the window and there's nothing left because we burnt up all the coal in the world mining Bitcoin. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. So we do need to change the way that Bitcoin is being mined. And these corporations that are mining Bitcoin now, Ant Pool, BTC, F2 Pool, these guys don't give a flying fork, man. They're just making that money no matter how they can get in it. So that is a problem that we as a Bitcoin community, as a cryptocurrency community, do need to address moving forward into the future. Something to keep in mind, guys. Okay. And there are plenty of countries that are doing it. Yes, Denmark is almost fully renewable. Costa Rica, almost fully renewable. Other countries do pretty damn well. New Zealand. I've actually thought about it before. Actually be a great place to have a Bitcoin mining center. Right down here somewhere. Yes. Okay. That's a pipe dream for another day, Lark. So, anyway, guys, that is just, an overview of, sort of the environmental impact and, the energy consumption, the corporatization of Bitcoin. Of course, if you guys do want to go get involved in some Bitcoin, and, hey, right now we got the options we got, so I am still very happily cloud mining like crazy, but you do, be at least aware of what's going on with your, what you're doing, right? Even transactions cost a pretty decent amount of energy. That's why the fees are so high. So, all things to keep in mind, guys. But anyway, if you do want to get some Bitcoin, rock and roll, guys. Let's do it. Go over to Hashflare. Last cloud mine. Well, actually, no. Hashing 24 is back. Hashing 24 is back. Their contracts are $300 a terahash. How? I don't know. Hashflare, though, $120 for a terahash. I got my referral link down below. You guys can hit that up. Help support me a lot. But, support yourself, guys. Get involved in Bitcoin mining. It's awesome, even though it's currently not the best for the environment, unfortunately. But like I said, I hope we can change that in the future. As a Bitcoin community, we can come together and maybe demand a little more of these companies that just don't care. So, it's the whole crypto space is just unregulated, and, the companies that are in it kind of only care about getting the money, which, yeah, okay, I get it. We're in it for the money, guys, but, at what cost? At what cost? Anyway, go get yourself some hashing power over here. And of course, if you think, I don't know if I don't know if I'm a cloud mine, you guys can always just go and buy some Bitcoin straight up too. That is another great option. Just buy it and hold it. You'll do fine that way as well. Although cloud mining does deliver a bit of a bigger return than you would get by just buying it. So that is something you can keep in mind as well. Anyway, guys, however you get your Bitcoin, get involved, but be aware of the consequences too. Anyway, guys, that's all from the Crypto Lark for this one. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.